Hey Theatre Addicts, I'm Melody Owen and I am here with Will Glenn and Trish Perry from A Brief History of Beer. They're up from the United States, Wish Experience Productions, and they're playing at Performance Works at Vancouver Fringe 2018. And I know you guys have quite a bit of Fringe experience, Fringe history. Would you tell us a little bit about your Fringe experience?
Sure. We both started, our first Fringe that we went to was in 2011. We went to the Edinburgh Fringe. We had both just graduated our master's programs, and we had some crazy wild friends that let us crash in their like a flat that they had rented, and so I think we saw like something like 15 shows in 2 days.
27 shows.
You were there slightly longer than I was. Got drunk twice, tried haggis. It was great. And then the next year we decided to actually do a show, and then to finance that show we did somebody else's show too, so we were sometimes doing 4 performances a day. So yeah, that's kind of where we started.
Yeah.
And you saw 27 shows at that year.
Yeah. I saw shows that have stuck with me to this very day. That like 7 or 8 years ago.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So as Fringe veterans, what is your favorite part of Fringe as an artist?
I'm a huge fan of the Fringe lottery, especially that they do here in the Canadian Association Fringe festivals, because I think it gives audiences and artists a chance to try something new. And the kind of the low prices and the fact that there's such a wide variety of work on offer means that you can bring an idea that is a bit strange or a bit different or maybe even just not fully developed in some cases, and people get an opportunity to see that and you get live feedback. So it's an incubator, I think, for new work and an opportunity for people to really increase their overall exposure to the many amazing different things that are out there. Yeah.
Awesome. Trish?
Yeah. Well, I kind of view Fringe as art for me is like an opportunity for, it's one of the few ways that we can get inside of each other's heads, you know. It's sort of like the closest thing to telepathy. And so what I love about, I know this is gonna be weird, what I love about Fringe then is that like, you've got all these people, and it's mostly new work, so you get to experience the interior of somebody's mind, whatever that might be. You know, so even if the show is a train wreck, you still got to be a part of. I don't know what I'm saying, but you know what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, and sometimes you will see a show that, like I say, changes your life, and it comes completely out of left field.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
so small
true.
surprises that you're not
Absolutely.
expecting, right?
Yeah.
Would you tell me the story of your show, talking about shows?
So yeah, we had just finished doing our show, The Awesome Show, in 2012, and it was great, but we lost lots of money.
Yeah, and we were. Edinburgh's hard because they say, and this may be apocryphal, but they say that the average audience in Edinburgh is like 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
There's like 5,000 shows. So afterwards we were sat in this pub kind of commiserating and talking about like, is this Fringe thing something we can do sustainably? What are the, and Trish was like, well, it definitely has to just be the 2 of us. We can't afford to bring like a tech or, you know, other kind of actors along with us. And what sort of show could we do that's just the 2 of us? And the bartender at this pub says, well, you guys ought to do a show about beer. You drink enough of it.
Yeah.
And Trish said,
well, so like we started then doing our research.
Yeah.
There was like a good 6 months of us just drinking heavily, and we would just be like, we're just doing research for our show. But then like when we did live in London, we would try to, you know, do cultural things. And so one day we went to the British Library, and we ended up looking at all these like first source books from, you know, like the Middle Ages and stuff with record. Like I think the thing that stood out to me was there were these records about the women that brewed beer in the Middle Ages, but they weren't listed in the financial documents with their names. They were listed as wife of John, wife of Bob. I don't think they called them Bob in the Middle Ages, but
yes.
it was like that. So we were like, oh my God, like this. there is actually more to the history of beer than there is to most of my friends' Fringe shows.
We love our Fringe shows.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, and that kind of was the avenue in for us to, like, this is an issue that we can look at without kind of being quite heavy-handed and political about it, and still actually have a kind of a takeaway from the show.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so tell me, you said you drank a lot of beer on the way. So tell me about the rehearsal process.
Oh,
It's an investment, I'm sure.
Yeah. We invested a lot in our livers. Well, first, our first rehearsal process. Well, it took like 6 months basically to write the show. You know, it's like you book something, but you can't really guarantee when you're going to be ready. So we had basically a week to rehearse before our first Edinburgh, and so we booked a cheap motel in Portugal.
Well, we had spent the summer kind of learning the lines and rehearsing the kind of actions, but the show's really tech heavy. There's a lot of video and a lot of sound. So we got to like the week before we were supposed to open, and we hadn't used any of the media yet.
Yeah, so we went and we would just wake up with the sun, rehearse for like 8 hours solid, and then we just roll on down to the beach and then drink. And then repeat for a whole week. It was great. And then after Edinburgh, we actually got a real director in who actually directed us and told us we had to stop drinking so much. Fair enough. And we actually blocked the show. When we did it in Edinburgh the first time, there was like no blocking. We were just hoping to hell that we could remember to, because we run our own tech during the show, which we had never done before. So we're hitting like 30 or 40 cues ourselves while trying to remember a two-hander with all this technology happening behind us, and we're just like,
just flying on a wing and a beer.
And while drinking beer. That sounds crazy.
Yeah, so when we first started doing it was like 4 beers. We just planted beers all over the stage because we didn't know where we would end up when we needed a beer. Now it's more reasonable.
But that first tour ended up being almost 6 months long. It took us to Germany, it took us to Australia, New Zealand, the west coast of the United States, and afterwards we both were like, this Fringe is something that we really, really love a lot. It needs to be a big part of our lives as individuals, and then we ended up founding a Fringe festival.
Oh, that's cool. So you founded Tampa Fringe Festival. When is it?
The first 2 weeks of May.
You
should come.
Just in case you're in Tampa.
If the weather's bad, just come on down.
Absolutely, yes, the weather's bad here. So I don't drink beer.
Yes, we know.
Not a problem.
We know.
So should I maybe not come to your show?
No. Everyone should come to the show.
You can drink whatever you want in the show. We won't make fun of you much.
My white wine.
No, you'd be totally fine. It's good to have something in your hand, even if it's just water or coffee, just for the cheersing that we do in the show, just because it's a bit participatory that way. But you don't have it's not a show that's just for beer snobs. If anything, sometimes we worry that beer snobs and beer aficionados, they'll come to the show and they'll already know most of what's in the show. I mean, there's always something, but yeah. So it's written to actually just be a funny show.
All right.
So you can drink your wine.
I can buy wine. I can buy wine at Performance Works and bring my wine and cheers with wine. Excellent. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, this is the first kind of chapter of the beer show. This is our original show that we've been doing for 5 years, and when we come to festivals for subsequent years, we bring other chapters that are more specialized or deal more specifically with, for example, Canadian beer. But this one is a general history of
10,000 years.
The world history. And so because it's such a general topic and we only have an hour, 95% of the information can't fit in the show.
Right.
So this is very much Beer 101.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. So any final words to our audience before we go?
Come ride through time in our quantum pint machine with us. It's fun. It's a fun show.
That's right. We need all the help we can get to keep the beer-powered ship Zithos going through space and time.
You founded and produced the Tampa Fringe. Tell us more about that.
So I am the festival producer, and Will is the festival director. We are a baby Fringe compared to most. We are only in our 3rd year. We do somewhere between 25 and 30 shows in our festival.
And we follow the same rules as all the CAF festivals here in Canada. We do a lottery. 100% of the box office goes directly back to the artists, and we bill it international and national artists. We have volunteers who put them up in their homes, so it's a very similar experience to doing a festival here in Canada, because these are the festivals that we love so much.
We just really love the model where you can still make it fair and uncensored and unjuried, but keeping a manageable number while we build audience. So the lottery is great for that. Our mascot is the chicken or the rooster. We have the tattoos. There's at least 15 people with these tattoos.
John Bennett has this tattoo.
So does Rob G.
That's right, but it's not a cult.
It's not a cult. A bunch of we have volunteers, staff. Some of our billets have the tattoo.
Yeah.
Nobody believed me when we get our artists and people wearing buttons discounts all over downtown Ybor, which is where the festival is. And there's a lot of tattoo parlors because it's sort of the club district. Ah, there you go. I went into one of these tattoo parlors and got a discount for a group rate. And I got the tattoo, and then people started following suit.
Because Trish is a natural born leader. That's why she's the captain.
Yeah.
Of the pint machine. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a really fun festival. It's a very grassroots feeling.
Yep. We have 2 boats.
Yeah, we have 2 boats.
We take people out on a boat.
If you feel like coming down to Tampa, you can always come volunteer or be in the festival or just come watch. Just come to our website, tampafringe.org.
TampaFringe.org. I'm Melody Owen for Theater Addicts. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Trish. Go see A Brief History of Beer at Performance Works, where you can buy beer or wine or water or coffee. Whatever you buy something to go cheers, and we'll see you there. Thank you for Fringe 2018. See you later.